Hello guys, what is going on? My name is Marin TM and welcome back to another video here on the channel. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about what I learned in the first Trio Cash Cup of Season 5. And there's a lot to be learned from today's video, so sit back, relax, and hopefully you can learn a thing or two. Before we get into that, 56.9% of you guys watching are not subscribed, and if you enjoy my content, consider subscribing and liking the video. It really helps out so much more than you think. With that said, let's get into today's episode. In the Trios Cash Cups this season, there is no kill cap, meaning you want to get as many kills as possible in your first game. What would have been the best possible scenario in game number 1 for us would have been getting around 40 kills, and that was our goal as well. Already 2 minutes into the first game, we make a mistake. We don't play together when fighting this team in Misty. In order to build up team chemistry, you should play a lot of both arena and customs together. This will make you understand how your teammates play, and because of this, you play more smoothly together.
Correct. Oh my. Alpha død han. Oi! Under meg. Full box.
Jeg kommer. Nice. Dead.
Here, I should have chilled and focused on hitting all my shots and not missing this shot right here.
Crack. Knock.
Nice.
Går opp en til. Tar vekk her. Fikk vekk. 100. Knock. Få på til. Vi bør komme oss lenger opp.
When doing this tarp, I move my crosshair way too much. In order to place the builds I do in this endgame, I could make small and precise mouse movements instead of these large creative warrior movements. Because of my large movements, it's hard for me to get awareness over the endgame, and this is crucial as a tarper, to know where you can and cannot tarp. In addition to that, I should have quickly asked for mats from my teammates. Now things get interesting. We need to move up a massive mountain, and I miss multiple opportunities to get up safely. Because I had bad game sense and bad awareness, we get suffocated under the mountain when we're trying to get up. This is where you can clearly see the difference between a good player and a content creator. A pro tip to everyone watching is to always hold high elevation when in mountain zones. This is because Fortnite makes the moving zones pull over mountains to minimize heal-offs and lag. What you'll see a lot in my gameplay is that my aim isn't as smooth as many other players' aim. And this is actually something that is holding me back quite a bit. And in order to fix this issue, I'm going to cut down on caffeine and stop drinking soda. I truly believe that this will make my aim better and my gameplay more clean, both when it comes to my aim and mechanics.
Oh my god.
Throwing bodies and knowing how to safely secure a body at all times is something everyone needs to learn. If you haven't done this before, start practicing always throwing bodies when you knock somebody in arena and build a box around them to secure the body. Usually when you see people on your layer in endgame in trios, it can be smart to either go one layer up or one layer down. In this endgame, we chose to stay on the same layer where we saw a full trio, and there was a ton of enemy builds. Here we should have tried going one layer up to get our own free layer.
Pass på over. Det er noen over. Vi må shockwave nå snart. Jeg går egen. Nice.
Another thing I need to practice in endgame is having more consistent aim and mechanics.
Nice.
I should have also double shockwaved and built walls when going up for height here. In game 3, we go down because we split up and didn't play like a team. In this endgame, we didn't have a lot of mats, and therefore we had to be smart about what we built and where we built it. When using metal here, I should have swapped over to brick as the zone was starting to move immediately after we landed. This would have saved us hard mats for even later in the game. Another thing that separates good from bad players is how much mats they use, and in this endgame I think I played our mats good, but far from perfect. I wasted a few mats here and there, and there's a lot of room to work with when it comes to conserving mats for me. And in addition to that, you can tell we played our early and mid game incorrectly, as we have no shields. This is something you should always have going into an endgame, and if you don't have it, it's usually worth it to full commit to a fight. In order to becoming better at early and mid game as a trio, it's crucial that you practice no zone rule customs together. Being able to loot efficiently will also drastically help you find better loot. This can be practiced easily in either battle lab or customs. Now we go for a rift fish play. I called not to use the rift fish to driven, but I forgot to say I had floppers, and therefore a driven used the rift fish, and that was definitely not the correct play in this endgame. Driven also had shockwaves we could have used to get into the zone. If you play the early and mid game correctly and you have a good tarper, you should have enough mats to tarp the entire first and second moving zone without needing a refresh. However, we played so wrong in the first 15 minutes of most of our games and ended up scuffed because of it. In addition to that, I had bad awareness over the zone, opponents, and my materials. If you want to know everything from how to loot correctly and how to rotate early and mid game, I recommend having a look at Stretch, Sate, and Staff's VODs from their tournament games. They take everything seriously and they're one of the best trios in the world because of it. In this endgame I hesitate for one brief second and I end up dying because of it. I should have made my decision quicker of where I wanted to go. In game number 6 I take an unnecessary 50-50 and I hold the worst angle I have ever made. There is no doubt about the fact that we didn't play enough together. We went for solo plays and couldn't keep 3 players alive in pretty much any of our 10 games. My advice to everyone watching is to find 2 players you enjoy playing with and stick with them for as long as possible. This is the best way to improve and start placing in tournaments. Chemistry means a ton in Fortnite. Right here I turn into content creator mode and build and edit way too much, and I don't keep awareness over my opponent because of focusing on my builds and edits. This leaves me to 50-50 a different opponent and I end up dying because of it. Before I conclude today's episode, I want everyone to understand that it hurts my soul to show you guys that I placed 4,508 today. Because I know you guys believe in me, and honestly, I believe more in myself than placing 4,508 too. But sometimes you just don't have your day. And today was one of them for me. What I need to practice is to get better awareness over everything, especially the endgame situation as a whole. I'm also not satisfied with my mouse movements and smoothness. I move my mouse way too much when I build and edit, and this is something I'm going to practice in creative a lot in the coming week. I also need a perm trio to practice with and have fun with, because that's how I get good. Lastly, I will VOD review a lot of games and learn how to play early and mid game correctly, because truthfully, I am incredibly bad at that. Guys, that is going to wrap up today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and take care.